YouTube, it is me again, back with another video, and this time I'm doing it in a mildly ASMR fashion because my voice is dead. So here we are. I don't know why my voice is dead today, but it is. So we're going to ring in the new year and listen to my dog scratch the carpet in an ASMR fashion. So I say ring in the new year. The fact of the matter is, it has been 2019 for a while now, and my dog is loud and obnoxious. But I made a list of things that I want to accomplish this year, and one of those things was learning to draw fantasy creatures and animals. So I decided that I would use this book that I got a great many years ago that teaches you how to draw fantasy creatures, and I will link to the author and this book in the description. I thought it was pretty helpful, and I chose 3 fantasy creatures, starting with the satyr, to just draw. And I really wanted to get a bit of a handle on animal proportions, and fantasy creatures seemed like a good way to kind of do something of an in-between for me, so that I still have some human elements, at least at first. Then I go just full creature. But yes. I'm sorry, my dog has decided that every time I talk, she will be up in my face and scratching the carpet. So I hope you don't mind that too much, because this is like the 4th time I've tried to record this audio, and I don't think my voice has much in it anymore. So I am using her sort of guidelines for how she drew the satyr. Now I want to go back and draw a satyr in a bit of a different position, see if I can use the same techniques and create more of a unique image, but I wanted to stick fairly close to sort of the wireframe that she created initially. And I think I was really happy with this wireframe, and I made some differences, like the horns that I used are different than the horns that she used. But I thought that the satyr turned out pretty cute. One of the things that I sort of have a hard time with is drawing faces on a smaller scale, because I have a hard time getting the really tiny, intricate details. So I kind of stalled on giving my satyr a face for a while, but right now I'm working on blocking out the sort of coarse shapes of his anatomy, which is something that she talks about in the book, as far as how you can kind of get these shapes to look right. And I thought that that would be a really fun way to really figure out what I wanted him to look like, especially with the hooves and the legs that I was unfamiliar with. So I'm not sure. Are satyrs like is it half goat? Is that what I'm remembering? I don't know. But I had a really fun time kind of working on the anatomy of a satyr, because it was similar to something that I've already done before, but it was different enough that it was fun and it was fresh. Now I don't go too detailed. I don't do line art or anything for these. These are just sketches, but it was sort of a way for me to talk about what I want to do in the new year, and that is doing things that I don't do very often. That's something that I want to challenge myself to do, and I want to finish the Flower Girls series before I get too deep into some other things. This is going to be the 2nd video posted this week. There will also be a Flower Girl video posted today, so that's something to look forward to in like a half an hour or so. But I want to finish a few different series, and I want to do something kind of new, and that's also something that I'll be addressing in an upcoming Flower Girl video for a series that I want to start, that will be a little bit different and a little bit more challenging for me, I guess we can say, because the Flower Girls have been a challenge for me, but I am familiar with drawing female faces. It's something that I'm good at, and it's something that I enjoy doing, so giving myself a little bit of the extra challenge, I think, is going to be fun. I was kind of torn on giving the satyr hair, but her satyr had hair, and I thought it really filled out the composition a little bit more, and that's also something I want to work on. So I decided to give my satyr hair. I did not, however, give him like the little pan flute that he had because I found myself bored with it. So that's what her version looks like, and that's what my version looks like. I was torn for a little bit for what I wanted to do next. I've drawn a nightmare horse before, actually using this book. It was the first time I'd ever drawn a horse, and I find that I really like drawing horses. If you watched my 2017 Inktober series way back when, you'll know that I actually drew a horse for one of them, and I don't remember what the prompt was to save my life, but I actually drew a horse for that one, and this time I'm drawing a fairy. I don't have a whole lot to say about this fairy, to be honest with you, except that I had a hard time placing her limbs. I think the pose for this fairy that she used is very unusual, but I think that's something I want to work on, is getting more complex and interesting poses for my drawings. So I think that that's going to be fun and something that I'm going to be definitely working on in the future. So that's all I really have to say about the fairy. I think I will come back when I'm doing my third and final fantasy creature, so stay tuned for that. Dragons, and I've always really wanted to draw their dragon forms, but I've always been kind of afraid to because drawing dragons can be kind of hard. And I've looked at a few different methodologies for drawing dragons, but I had never really given any of them a fair shake. So I decided that I would start here, and I would do sort of the wireframe of the dragon. And this is actually my second time trying to do a wireframe of a dragon, and I think this one turned out much better than my first attempt, which was a digital attempt that I didn't record because it was during my holiday break when I was just kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I thought that this was pretty fun, drawing a dragon, and I think the dragon came out probably the best, even though it's not really that detailed and it's pretty sketchy in terms of drawings. But I think I really enjoy drawing dragons. What's actually a fun story about me and drawing dragons is that when I was younger, we had this whiteboard in our basement, and when we were going to move out of that house, and actually out of that state, I had drawn this dragon on the whiteboard, and I was so proud of it and I really wanted to take a picture of it, but my mom wouldn't let me use the camera. And she's like, you just need to clean up, we've gotta go. So I wiped away the drawing of the dragon, and I was crying the whole time. And maybe that's why I stopped drawing dragons when I was little. But I think it's going to be fun to get back into it, especially considering I don't even remember what that tiny dragon looked like. It was probably really bad. So my mom was probably just scaring me from embarrassing myself in the future. Too late, Mom. I'm embarrassing. But I think the dragon, part of the problem that I was having is I wanted this dragon to be very sleek, but that's not the aesthetic that the writer for this book had in mind. She had very muscly dragon. So I was trying to find a balance between her preferences and mine, which was hard because dragons, when you think of dragon, you think of very muscular. But I have dragons in my head that are more the slender and long, lanky kind of dragon that you can see in other fantasy drawings. So it's going to be interesting for me to try and draw different dragon body types, if you will, and human body types. That's something I need to work on, but I was really kind of enjoying it. And so because this was my favorite of the sketches, I took my colored pencil and just added a little block of color behind it, and that's really all I have to say for this video. So you can look forward to some different kinds of drawings in the new year, and I hope that you have a great 2019, and I will catch you guys in the next video.